JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 9th of November 2022, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation. It should not be considered as such and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. Now guys, let's jump into the charts. The first one on the pickup here is Nikkei 225. So yep, we're seeing that little hold up here. I talked about it yesterday, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Basically, yeah, we got a hold up near this barrier. I talked about this and I said that if we do hold here, maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible towards this downside line. Taken from the high of the 17th of August, which we broke. So yeah, in a way, at the moment, let's say if we do continue to fall below this 27,692 territory right here, where we're currently found a bit of support. If we do drop below this, travel to this downside line, rebound from this downside line, and then push back, this is my scenario. This is what I'm going to be keeping an eye on for now. If the hurdle here continues to hold, this 27,692 continues to hold, then maybe a rebound could come in earlier, but in that case I would need to see a push, a straight push through this barrier, through this area right here, this 27,946, and then we could aim for that 28282 level. Now, Shanghai Composite also, let's have a quick look. Yeah, doing this in the same thing. I talked about this yesterday, maybe a bit of a retracement, maybe even all the way towards that 21-day EMA, towards that 3027 territory right here. Let's see, let's not rush into anything. At the moment, I'm just leaving it here. Look, maybe it's forming something of a bullish flag here, who knows, because again, it looks like one, so if we kind of draw it this way, let me just put it on the chart. So basically something like this, like a falling channel even, I would say. So yeah, if this somehow is the thing here, if it holds, I mean, or let's say it doesn't hold. If this area holds together with the lower side of this falling channel, together with the 21-day EMA and this 3027 territory, if it all provides good support, maybe we could see that rebound here in a breakout, and in that case we will have that confirmation of a bullish flag here. So at the moment, like I said, just wait and see. Let's. Unfortunately, that's not the most exciting part of this. However, it might, give us some good fruit. Now, ASX 200, mission accomplished. 6,994 area. That's what we reached. Look. This just worked as like a charm, and it just moved nicely. He lowered here initially, tested this kind of area near the upside line, rebounded from it, pushed back up towards this 200-day EMA, climbed above it, and yeah, now the question here is what's going to happen next. I mean, will we see a further move north? Well, again, at this point I will say careful. If you remember yesterday, I talked about this idea of this bearish 3 or rising 3 or whatever, guys. I mean, it's a bit confusing. However, It doesn't always work out, so we have to be careful here. And at the moment, look, if it does push through that 6,994 territory, yes, I'll go higher. I'll go towards that 7,117 territory, and then we'll take it from there. The German index, DAX. Yeah, this one is also quite interesting. Yesterday we saw a nice push through this 200-day EMA. We stayed above it. We stayed above that 13,565 territory as well. So everything's looking quite nice for the bulls here. Look, yesterday I said that if we do push through it and stay above it, then yes, I'm leaning kind of more than towards the upside. We do have a bit of retracement right now. I can see in the cash index we're currently sitting at around 13,633 territory, so basically slightly below this area. Below the closing price of yesterday, closing level of yesterday, but still above that 200-day EMA. So in a way, if something like this remains valid, if we do continue to trade above that 200-day EMA, I will aim higher. My next target is this 13,950 territory right there. For the downside, now I have my arrow from here, and probably at this point I'll stick to it. I mean, I understand we could be missing out on a little bit of territory here, but I don't see like a clear area here or anything. I mean, some of you maybe might say, hey, what about this one? You can do that, yes, 13,444, but it got violated. Maybe it got violated here. It wasn't really respected. So maybe this time, for example, if it does drop lower, maybe it could respect it this time. But again, it's a tricky one. I mean, you can keep an eye on it, but just, of course, have your careful stop loss always in place. Nasdaq 100. So good push higher. We managed to reach the 21-day EMA. Look, we've reached that 11,177 territory I talked about, and I said before that hey, if you want to go further north, then maybe a push above that barrier is required. Well, we didn't really get that push above it. I would say I wouldn't count this as a push, to be honest. I mean, we met resistance near the 21-day EMA, so I would like to see a nice good move here above this area in order to go higher. And another thing, look, some of you, I mean, if you remember last time I was looking at this, I was saying when we were still here before the Fed, basically, when we were still here, I said that hey, maybe, just maybe, we could see this one kind of, forming something of an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Well, again, maybe this time it's not going to be the inverted head and shoulders pattern. Maybe it's going to be like a double bottom or something like that here. As you can see, we could class this as a double bottom, and yeah, maybe we could see this one pushing higher, but still, either way, doesn't matter. Like, inverted head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders, or double bottom. Still, the neckline exists, and yeah, if you want to get comfortable with higher advances here, then certainly a push through that neckline is required. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay, this one's on fire. It's like there was no Fed meeting. I mean, on this one, it's if the S&P and the Nasdaq are the ones that are suffering. Well, Nasdaq actually, by the way, Nasdaq is because being as a high technological technological index here. Basically, the tech right now is not the best place to be in. So I know maybe some of you are in long-term tech, or should I say in tech in the long term. At the moment, I think that tech is the one to suffer a little bit. So that we might not see Nasdaq, for example, moving, making big moves unless there's some sort of manipulation, or not manipulation, or maybe some sort of news there are boosting up. But in general, yeah, the tech right now is the lagging sector, so it might stay like that for a little bit. But that's why you might not see Nasdaq maybe as jumpy as, for example, the Dow, which at the moment, it's, as you can see here, it's climbing back to this downside line. So the question is here, can we see a nice good move further north? If you remember, I talked about this level right here, the 32,612 and it's at 11. I said that if we push through it, then yes, my next target is not only that 33,072, but also this 33,365 level right there, marked by the high of the 26th of August near this downside line. If we do want to go higher, certainly a break of this downside line is required, and yeah, if we do clear this barrier, I will go further north. At the moment, I'm just observing this one because again, my target has been reached, so let's see if we can now, because what I'm expecting here may be a bit of a bouncing around, something like that here near this downside line, maybe stalling a little bit, and then kind of maybe, let's say, making a strong move to the upside. But again, let's wait and see. DXY, the dollar index, so beautiful. Beautiful. I said to you yesterday, look, if we remain above that 110 territory, I might consider maybe a move back to this 21-day EMA, but we fell below this, and that's where it ended up going. It went to this lower side of the falling wedge, and yep, towards this upside line taken from the low of the 10th of February. So what's next? I would say if you're looking for some lower levels at this point, I would say take it easy because we already had that kind of decline. We might get a bit of a bouncing around here, but if we suddenly start falling and stay below this 100-day EMA, that's where I'll get more excited with further declines, and I will aim for that 200-day EMA. At the moment, I'm watching this. I want to see if we're going to rebound from this upside line and this lower side of the falling wedge, because if you remember, according to all the TA rules, falling wedges tend to be a bullish indication. However, we need that confirmation break first. So long story short, a push back above the 110.05 territory might attract more buyers into the game. So gold. Okay, gold, beautiful, guys. Look, I talked about this yesterday and the day before yesterday. I said that, hey, let's see if this is not forming something like a bullish flag or something like that. And there we go. There we go. I talked about this and I said that my next target, for the upside, what I'm looking at here is the 1684 level. I need to see a nice good break above it in order to go higher, where my next target will be ideally the 1729, but the 100-day EMA will be in the way. Well, talk about perfect move here. So basically, yesterday we drifted lower. I said to you when we were still somewhere around here, if we do break that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, we might go a little bit lower. We did get a false breakout here, and then we quickly reversed to the upside. So yeah, and it didn't really go to this 38.2, so because it didn't stay below that 23.6, instead it reversed nicely, and then we started climbing, and well, this was the bullish indication that it wanted to go further north as it broke the 1684 level, and there we go. So what's next? At the moment, we might see the commodity kind of stalling, maybe somewhere a little bit here. However, if it pushes above that 100-day EMA, my next target is the 1729. For the downside, well, at the moment I'm not really considering the downside unless it's a little correction or something. But yeah, I'm gonna leave the downside scenario for now. WTI oil, after reaching the 93.62 perfectly, it has drifted back down, fallen back below the 200 and 100-day EMAs. It's getting closer now to this 21. To be honest, at this point, I will leave it. Why? Because, and this is where I need to redraw this a little bit. So, okay, I'll keep this upside line, but just to let you know, it's going to be temporarily. I think I'm going to get rid of this later on, because if it breaks, I will aim for this area right here, the highlighted zone, which acted as a fantastic area of support, then we could take it from there. But so that's why at the moment I'm just observing this one, because what I want to see here, if this is not going to end up something of an extra arrow here, there we go. a nice range here for ourselves. So if that's the case, guys, well, I mean, I would say, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen further. Again, at this point in time, probably if it is a range, then certainly wait for that pop of the 93.62 level here. If we do get that pop, then yes, I'll go further north. 97.65 level, that's going to be my next target. In terms of the downside, as I said, the break of this upside line is needed in order to aim for the lower side of this potential range. Okay, the crypto world. So yesterday it suffered significantly, although DXY, it wasn't the DXY that kind of drove the cryptos to the downside. No, the sentiment, I think Coinbase delivered bad numbers, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check this very quickly. Yep, I mean Coinbase was a disaster. Yeah, okay. And I think the Riot as well, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, well, actually, no, Riot was still okay. But, okay, let's see. Okay, Bitcoin, yeah, suffered yesterday, but look, it traveled nicely in, bang on this level, the 17,567, approximately around here. But to be honest, I had this number here, and it just played out perfectly. That's the lowest point of June, which provided fantastic support. In general, if you remember, I kept on talking about this idea of a range. Well, I'm still talking about it, and at the moment, I would say I am keeping a close eye on this area, a close eye on this range. And if we do want to kind of move here out of this range, well, we'll have to just wait and see. At the moment, like I said, I'm just playing the field here. I would actually say I'm sitting down on the field and not doing much because, although I would like to play the field, but I cannot really right now because, again, at this point, it is just very tricky. If we are in the range, then this could, end up moving sideways for a little while. At the moment, we're near the lowest point of the range. Question, can we rebound here? That's a good question. We'll have to wait and see. At the moment, I would say as long as we stay above it, then yeah, there is a good chance to move back to the upside. But this is one of those points where it's kind of a bit of a gamble here. Well, actually, the whole market is always a gamble, but it's if we do drop and stay below the lower side of the range, then yes, I'll go lower. But if let's say we form some sort of a false breakout or something like that, then, well, maybe a reversal here back to the upside could be possible. Ethereum, similar story. Look, I mean, we fell below this downside line. I talked about it, and yeah, what I said, what did I say? What did I say? What my target will be then? Well, it's the 1219. Perfect hit of this area near this level, and boom, there we go. What's next? Well, the arrow goes this way because we have a nice key support level right now here, which has formed. So let's just stick to it. Let's not invent a bicycle here, and let's just stick to this area. Just if you want to go lower, a break below this area would be needed. Then we have these other obstacles on the way lower, like the 1000 level, the psychological 1000 level, or even below that. Now, in terms of the upside, okay, with the upside, I would say now I need to redraw these arrows, and I think that I will start looking at the upside if we climb back above the 1500 level. EURUSD. This one, still watching this one. We're near this. We're knocking on the door of this downside line. Let's see if we can get another break here. Because look, we did break it yesterday, but we found resistance near that 0.6548 level, and then we drifted back to the downside. So another break of this downside line and a push above the 0.6548 level, then yes, could attract more buyers into the game. In terms of the next level there, that's what I'm going to be aiming for, the 0.6682, and then we'll take it from there. For the downside, I still need to see a break of this upside line because, again, I don't want to rush into anything here, and basically I don't want to kind of do anything while we are in between these two these trend lines. AUD NZD, so okay, still holding this 1.0883 level is still holding up, so that's great, because if it breaks, then yes, this could open the door towards lower levels, because the forthcoming lower low would be confirmed. At the moment we're seeing a nice rebound, so that's absolutely fine. I can remove this line, I think, and I can mark, I think, this area right there. There we go. I think this could be quite an interesting one, the 1.0953. Let's see if that's going to hold or not. Look, for the upside, I'm still, as I mentioned before, that it might take a while until, let's say, it could get back to this downside line, and maybe this 1.1008, 22, something like that, could play out nicely here, perfectly. So that's why my upside scenario is from around here. As long as we remain in this area, I'm just observing it. NZDCHF, now lately one of my favorite ones, to be honest, and look at how well this is playing out. Look, yesterday we had a nice push again to the upside, failed near this downside line once again, and I said to you, if we want to go higher, although we are within the rising channel, if you want to go higher, I need a break of that downside line. Well, we're not getting it. Instead, we got to break through the lower side of the rising channel. Now, that doesn't mean that it for sure 100% is going to go lower. No, anything can happen still. It could still, reverse sharply to the upside. Maybe this, this rising channel doesn't carry much weight. So yeah, just be very careful on that. At the moment, yes, I'm leaning more towards the downside. But again, I'll keep in mind that if we suddenly start breaking this downside line here, then that's where it could open the door towards that 200-day EMA. USDCHF, so mission accomplished. We reached our target, 0.9842. That's great. Now the question here is, where can we go next? Well, at the moment I will let me just redraw this a little bit here this way. So if in order for me to go lower, I need to see a nice good drop below this 0.9842 level right here. Nice good break below it, yeah, may attract more sellers into the game. We could then aim for, as you can see, I have two upside lines here, both tentative, to be honest, and that's why I would say, yeah, at this point, let's wait and see. I have drawn them both. One is closer to the 100-day EMA, the other one's capturing kind of the lowest point here. So, again, in a way, let's keep them both on the chart for now. Let's see if we can get maybe some sort of a pause here, a little pause near this area. But we'll aim for lower levels if we do see a drop below that 0.9242 level. For the upside, I would like to see maybe a pushback somewhere above this area, above the 0.9962, and then we could take it from there. So, USD/JPY, 145 level, that's going to be an interesting one. If we do drop below this, then yes, I will go lower. And as I said before, that's what I was waiting for in order to go to the downside. Another thing here to consider is the fact that maybe, just maybe, we could be forming a nice descending triangle. If that's the case, then yes, this could open the door towards lower levels, towards that 100-day EMA or that 141.50. That's going to be my next target, and then we'll take it from there. For the upside, I need to see, at this point now, I would like to see a break of this downside line, and then we could go a little bit higher here. So let's wait and see. USD CAD, another interesting one, fell below the 1.35, stayed below it. Yesterday tried to climb back up, but again failed to remain above it. So there we go. Next target was reached. So after we reached the 1.35, we've reversed back down, reached the 1.34. Look, I mean, if you remember, I talked about these nice, beautiful numbers on USD CAD because, look, somehow it lately has been really liking them. And the 1.37, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, and 33 is my next target here if we do fall below that 1.34. I'm going to keep it simple. Yeah, my next target is the 1.33 territory near this 100-day EMA. GBP/JPY, something that I haven't looked at for quite a while, but let me remove all the lines here because, again, let me have a fresh start. The reason why I picked up on this one is because that hey, it could be forming a bit of an ugly head and shoulders pattern. Now again, will it be the case? I don't know, but this is my neckline here, the 165 area. If a nice good drop below it may attract more sellers into the game, we could then target the 200-day EMA, and probably this is how I will draw this. Let me just put this on the chart. This is how, yeah, there we go. So if we do fall below the so-called neckline at 165, then my next target is the 200-day EMA. For the upside, I will just probably stick to the 172 territory, 172.13, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. At this point, like I said, it could be quite an interesting one. At this point, I would say it's a little bit tricky. If it does fall below the 21-day EMA, great, okay. We can go nicely to the downside maybe, but then still it could drift a little bit lower, maybe test an area somewhere here, reverse back up, and we can ignore the whole kind of head and shoulders pattern. But yeah, just wanted to point out to you that maybe, you know, you could maybe put this one on alert or something like that once it, let's say, if it gets closer to the 165 territory. Euro JPY. This one's a little bit different. Look, on a few scenarios here on this one, and we're currently near this downside line, which if it gets broken, this could open the door towards higher levels. On the other hand, we are forming something of a descending triangle because, again, we are forming these lower highs. We have this nice good base here, key support level near the 144 territory, and that's where my downside scenario starts. So all this area right here, I am just observing it, just not doing anything. But if it, let's say, if it pushes through this downside line and stays above it, great. This is where it could open the door towards the 148.40, and the reason why I'm not dragging this one way too much higher, because I don't want to end up in something of some sort of a range here or something like that. So yeah, it's better to kind of maybe be a little bit more on the safer side, and that's why I'm only targeting this area if we do break and stay above this downside line. And finally, EURUSD, guys. So yeah, great. We stayed above this one level. I talked about this, and there we go. My next target was reached, the 100-day EMA, together with this 1.0094. Now the question here is, can we continue? Can we continue moving towards the upper side of this rising channel, which I believe we are in still? So yeah, pretty much straightforward. And if you're looking for some higher levels, a break above this area would be required. But again, all will depend, a lot will depend, not all, but a lot will depend on DXY, this dollar index, because again, it's going to be quite interesting to see if we can rebound from this area which I talked about, the upside and the lower side of the upside line and the lower side of the falling wedge. If we can do that, maybe maybe EURUSD could drift back to the downside. But again, let's wait and see. At the moment, guys, that's the situation in the markets, and yeah, let's take a careful position. Now, guys, I really hope you found it useful. I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your views, your likes, your comments in general, guys. So yeah, thank you for that. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a beautiful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.